Have you ever woken up and the house just feels too quiet? The clock ticks louder than it should. You make your coffee, maybe flip on the TV for some background noise, but deep down you feel it. That heavy silence wrapping itself around you. That question creeping in. How am I going to feel today? Who even knows I'm here? You're not alone in feeling that way. You're really not. So many people, good, strong, beautiful souls, wake up every day wondering the same thing. How do I stay happy when it feels like the world has gotten quieter? How do I keep my heart open when my house feels so empty? And here's the thing most people don't talk about. Loneliness isn't just a feeling. It's not just being alone. It's something that can wear you down from the inside out. It can chip away at your joy, your health, your energy, even your will to keep moving forward. But listen to me now, because this is the part that matters most. It doesn't have to be that way. You have more control than you realize, and the smallest habits, things you can do every single day, can completely transform the way you experience life. You can turn loneliness into connection. You can turn empty days into ones filled with meaning, peace, and even new joys you never expected. And today, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. I'm going to walk you through simple, powerful daily habits that can help you stay happy, connected, and fulfilled. Whether you're living alone or just feeling a little lost at this stage of life, and make sure you stick around until the very end, because I'll be sharing one final, powerful mindset shift. Something so important that it could honestly change the way you see every single day you wake up. Before we dive in, though, I want to hear from you. Right now in the comments, if you believe that happiness is still possible at any age, even when you're walking this path alone, type "I believe." Let's show each other and the world that it's never too late for a joyful life. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for Elder Talks Daily, because here we believe that every stage of life deserves wisdom, hope, and heart. All right, let's dive into the very first habit. And honestly, if you do just this one thing, you'll already feel a shift in your days. It's called creating a morning purpose ritual. Now, I want you to picture this with me. There's an elderly gentleman named Harold. He's about 82 years old, lives in a small, cozy house on the edge of town. No big family gatherings anymore. No full calendar of events like he once had. But you know what Harold does every single morning? He wakes up, stretches a little, makes a hot cup of tea, then sits by the window with a small notebook. And before he lets the world get too loud, he writes down one thing he's looking forward to that day. Just one simple thing. Maybe it's feeding the birds out back. Maybe it's watering the little flower pots he planted last spring. Maybe it's calling his granddaughter just to hear her laugh. Doesn't have to be big. Doesn't have to be fancy. Just one reason to feel excited about being alive today. Now, why is this so powerful? Well, researchers have found that when you wake up with a sense of purpose, even a tiny one, your brain releases chemicals that boost your mood, lower your stress, and keep feelings like sadness and hopelessness at bay. It's not magic, it's science. When you give your mind a small task to focus on, you gently steer it away from worry, fear, and that heavy feeling of loneliness that sometimes creeps in when the day stretches out too long. But here's a big misconception a lot of people have. Some folks think purpose has to mean something grand. Traveling the world, starting a new business, running a marathon at 80 years old. No. The truth is, for most of us, especially in this season of life, small daily purposes are actually more powerful than giant goals. It's not about the size of the dream. It's about the feeling of meaning every single day. So here's my little challenge for you. Starting tomorrow morning, before you even brush your teeth, take a piece of paper, a sticky note, a journal, anything you have, and write down one thing you're excited to do or feel that day. Just one. Maybe it's sitting outside and feeling the sun on your face. Maybe it's calling an old friend. Maybe it's trying a new recipe for lunch. It doesn't matter how small it is. What matters is that it matters to you. Because when you build this tiny ritual into your mornings, you start your day with hope instead of heaviness. And let me tell you, that hope builds on itself day after day after day. But having purpose alone isn't enough, my friend. Life isn't meant to be walked through alone, no matter how strong or independent you are. We all need connection too, even just little moments of it. So now let's move on to the next daily habit, one that's just as powerful for staying happy and emotionally strong. It's all about how to build small, meaningful connections, even when it feels like everyone's busy or far away. Now let's move into the second daily habit. And honestly, this one might just change your life in ways you didn't even expect. It's called practicing one small act of social outreach. Let me tell you a little story. Imagine a woman named Mary. She's 76 years old, retired, living quietly in her little apartment filled with photos of family, old souvenirs, and the soft hum of a ticking clock. Now, for a while, the days stretched long and quiet for Mary. Too quiet, really. Until one day she decided to pick up the phone and call her old coworker from years ago, just to say hello. Nothing fancy, no big conversations planned. Just a simple, "Hey, I was thinking about you. How have you been?" Well, that one little 10-minute chat, it lit up her entire week. And it wasn't just Mary who felt that way. Her friend on the other end of the line felt a little less alone too. So they made a promise. Every Tuesday, same time, same voices. Just a simple phone call, some laughs, a few stories, maybe a memory or two. Those tiny, simple moments became the highlight of her week. And here's the beautiful part. They became the highlight of her friend's week too. Two lives made lighter just by one small act of reaching out. Now you might be wondering, can something that small really make that big of a difference? The answer is a big, warm yes. Here's why. Science tells us that even the simplest human connection, a short phone call, a little chat with your neighbor, a letter sent to an old friend, triggers the release of a special chemical in your brain called oxytocin. Some folks call it the love hormone or the bonding chemical. And when oxytocin flows, it naturally lowers feelings of sadness, it eases anxiety, it fills that empty space inside with a sense of belonging. It literally helps fight depression and loneliness at a biological level. You don't need hours and hours of deep conversations. You don't need to throw big parties or join big clubs. You just need a few simple, genuine touches of connection every day. But here's where a lot of people get stuck. They think, "Oh, but I don't have any close friends anymore." Or, "It's been too long." They'll think it's weird if I call out of the blue. Let me tell you, you don't need deep, lifelong friendships to feel connected. Even casual chats, even reconnecting with someone you haven't spoken to in a while, even just smiling at your neighbor when you pass them on the sidewalk. All of it counts. All of it nourishes the heart. So here's a simple goal you can start today. Reach out to just one person each day. One small act. It could be a quick phone call, a short note you write in mail, even a comment on someone's photo or post online, just to say, "Thinking of you." It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be deep. It just has to be real. Because every little thread of connection you weave pulls you closer to a life that feels full, vibrant, and richly human. Speaking of connections, though, there's one more connection we need to talk about, the one with your own body. Let's move into the next daily habit, where I'll show you how a little bit of movement each day can reconnect you back to yourself and fill your spirit with strength you didn't even know you still had. All right, now let's dive into the third daily habit. And this one, it's all about waking up your spirit and bringing a little more light into your day. It's called Move Your Body with Joy. Let me paint you a little picture. There's a man named Tom. He's 82 years old, a proud grandfather, a retired school teacher, and a widower. Now, mornings used to be tough for Tom. Waking up to the quiet, the stillness, the memories of mornings that once bustled with the sounds of a busy house. One day, feeling the weight of the silence a little too heavy on his chest, he turned on his old record player. And out came this cheerful, bouncy 1950s tune, the kind that just makes you want to tap your foot without even thinking. And you know what Tom did? He started to dance, right there in his living room, all by himself. No fancy moves, no audience, just him, his memories, and his music. And he laughed, really laughed, for the first time in what felt like months. Now every morning, rain or shine, Tom rolls up the rug, hits play on that old record player, and dances. Sometimes for 5 minutes, sometimes for 20, sometimes with tears in his eyes, but always with a little spark of joy in his heart. It might seem silly, it might seem small, but to Tom, it's everything. And guess what? Science backs him up too. When you move your body even just a little, you release these amazing chemicals called endorphins. Endorphins are like nature's own little antidepressants. They lift your mood, lower your stress, and make you feel more alive. And here's something even more beautiful. Joyful movement, like dancing or stretching or walking in the sunshine, actually brings greater emotional benefits than hard, grueling workouts. So let's clear up a big myth right now. You do not have to sweat buckets at a gym to be healthy. You don't need to lift heavy weights or run marathons. Nope. When it comes to feeling good in your body and your mind, consistency and joy matter far more than intensity. And I get it. You might think, but I'm too stiff, or I can't dance like I used to. But joyful movement isn't about performance. It's about feeling alive in your own skin. It could be a simple morning stretch in your chair. It could be swaying your arms to your favorite song in the kitchen. It could be a slow, peaceful walk around your block, taking in the breeze and the blooming flowers. Find whatever little movement brings a smile to your face and make it part of your daily ritual, even if it's just 5 minutes, even if no one else ever sees it. Because when you move your body with joy, you're telling yourself, I'm still here, I'm still living, I'm still me. And that's a powerful, beautiful thing. Now, speaking of staying alive and vibrant, let's talk about a habit that taps into something even deeper. Your creativity, a simple daily practice that keeps your mind sharp, your heart full, and your spirit feeling young. Let's dive into that next. All right, my friend, let's talk about something that often gets overlooked, but is one of the most powerful tools you have for staying happy, strong, and full of life. This next habit is about nurturing something deep inside you. Something that's been there all along, waiting quietly for a little sunlight. It's about nurturing a creative hobby. Let me tell you a story. There's a woman named Margaret. She spent almost 50 beautiful years married to her husband, Joe. After he passed, her world got very small, very quickly. The house felt too big. The days felt too long. The silence felt too loud. One afternoon, digging through some old drawers, she found an old set of watercolor paints and a stack of blank postcards. She sat down at her kitchen table and, without even thinking too hard, she started painting tiny little scenes. A bird on a branch, a teacup full of daisies, a small cottage surrounded by trees. She wasn't trying to be a great artist. She just let her hands and her heart do the talking. And something amazing happened. Those little paintings, they started to bring her joy. First, she pinned them on her fridge. Then she mailed a few to her grandchildren. And soon friends, neighbors, even people she hadn't spoken to in years, started telling her how much those tiny watercolor postcards meant to them. Today, Margaret's kitchen table is her little art studio. Her paintings have brightened dozens of lives, including her own. Now here's the incredible thing. This isn't just a feel-good story. It's science, creative expression, whether it's painting, writing, sewing, gardening, you name it, actually rewires your brain. It promotes something called neuroplasticity, which is a fancy word for the brain's ability to stay flexible, sharp, and resilient, no matter your age. It literally helps keep your mind younger. It strengthens emotional resilience, meaning you can bounce back from sadness or stress much more easily. And listen, I want to clear up a big misconception right now. So many people believe hobbies are just silly little luxuries, or they think, well, I'm not talented, so what's the point? But hear me when I say this. Creativity is not about being the best. It's not a competition. It's a basic human need. It's about expressing something inside of you. It's about bringing color to your day, even when life feels a little gray. So don't worry about doing it right. Forget perfect. Forget polished. Just find something, anything that sparks a little bit of joy inside you. Paint. Write a few lines of poetry. Plant some flowers. Knit a simple scarf. Bake a batch of cookies and decorate them like a kid would. The goal isn't to impress anyone. The goal is to feel alive. Every brushstroke, every scribbled note, every planted seed, it's all a little gift you give yourself, and you deserve that. Now, my friend, as wonderful and healing as these habits are, there's one more piece of the puzzle, because no matter how many activities you fill your day with, none of it will truly stick, none of it will truly bloom, unless you embrace this final, crucial habit. Let's talk about it next. Let me ask you something, my friend. When was the last time you paused, even for just a moment, to notice something good about your day? I mean, really noticed it, held it close, and let it warm you from the inside out? Because here's the truth. Gratitude isn't just a nice idea, it's a lifeline. Today, I want to share with you one of the simplest yet most powerful habits you can weave into your life. A habit that has the power to soften the hard days, brighten the ordinary ones, and lift your heart in ways you might not even realize you need. It's the habit of gratitude reflection. Let me tell you about Linda. Linda is 76 years old, and every single night before she goes to bed, she sits on the edge of her bed, takes a deep breath, and thinks of 3 things she's grateful for that day. Some nights it's big things, like a visit from her granddaughter who fills the house with laughter. Other nights it's smaller moments, like the way her tea was perfectly warm and sweet, or the way the evening breeze felt against her skin. It's not about making every day perfect. It's about honoring the good that's already there, even if it's tiny. Now you might be wondering, does something so simple really make a difference? Science says, absolutely. Research shows that practicing gratitude regularly, even for just a few minutes a day, can reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety by retraining your brain. It gently shifts your focus away from what's missing and toward what's already beautiful, already working, already worth smiling about. It's like planting tiny seeds of hope every single day. But here's where people often get it wrong. A lot of folks think gratitude only counts when it's about something big, like winning the lottery or having a grand adventure. But that's not how it works. In fact, it's the small, everyday gratitudes that create the strongest mental shift. The smell of fresh coffee, a neighbor's wave from across the street, the simple fact that you woke up this morning and got another shot at life. Those are the things that build up like little bricks, creating a sturdy, beautiful foundation inside you. So here's what I encourage you to do. Every night before bed, whether you write it down in a notebook or just say it quietly to yourself, name 3 things you're grateful for. Don't worry about making it fancy. Don't worry if it feels silly at first. Just speak it. Feel it. Let it settle in your heart. Over time, without even realizing it, you'll start to notice more goodness in your days. You'll start to feel lighter, more hopeful, more alive. Now, my dear friend, we've explored some powerful daily habits together. But before we finish, let's dive even deeper. Let's talk about the real emotional impact of all this and why, even if the changes seem small at first, they matter more than you could ever imagine. You know, there's something we don't talk about enough, and it's this: facing loneliness can feel absolutely overwhelming. Some days it's like a heavy fog that settles over your heart. It creeps in quietly, and suddenly even the things you once loved feel distant, quiet. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay to grieve what you've lost. It's okay to miss the days when your home was filled with laughter, when the phone rang more often, when your calendar was full of birthdays and coffee dates. There's no shame in feeling that ache. It just means you have a heart that's loved deeply. But here's something even more important to remember, my friend. You are not powerless. You may not be able to turn back the clock. You may not be able to change everything happening around you. But inside you, there is strength, real strength. Maybe it's been buried under a little sadness. Maybe it's been hiding behind the busyness of life. But it's there, waiting for you to reach out and use it. Every small habit we've talked about, the simple acts of outreach, the joyful movement, the creative sparks, the moments of gratitude, each one is a tiny lifeline, a thread you can grab onto when the days feel heavy. You're not just passing time, you're reclaiming joy, you're rebuilding connection, you're creating a life of meaning, even when solitude knocks at your door. And you don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start today. Pick just one of the habits we talked about, just one, and promise yourself you'll weave it into your life this week. Maybe it's a short phone call. Maybe it's dancing a little to your favorite song. Maybe it's writing down 3 small things you're thankful for tonight. Start small, but start, because here's something I want you to tuck deep in your heart. You are never truly alone. Somewhere, someone is thinking of you. Maybe it's a friend from long ago. Maybe it's a neighbor you barely notice. Maybe it's the stranger whose day you unknowingly brightened with your smile. Through small acts of hope and connection, through tiny steps of care and love, you can brighten your days again. You can find pieces of joy waiting for you, even now. And you deserve that, more than you know. You know, before we part ways today, I just want to take a moment to look back at everything we shared. Because honestly, these simple habits, they have the power to change your days in ways you might not even imagine yet. Today we talked about 5 beautiful daily habits you can lean on to stay happy and hopeful, even when you're living alone. We talked about creating a morning purpose ritual, starting each day with intention instead of just drifting through it. We talked about reaching out to someone every day. Even a small hello can light up your heart. We talked about moving your body with joy, finding little moments to dance, stretch, or sway, not because you have to, but because it feels good. We talked about nurturing a creative hobby, letting your spirit express itself through painting, writing, gardening, whatever stirs that little spark inside you. And we talked about ending each day with gratitude, finding beauty in even the smallest blessings. 5 small habits, 5 lifelines, 5 ways to hold on to hope, even on the quietest days. Now, I would really love to hear from you. Which one of these habits are you most excited to try? Or maybe you already have a daily habit that's been keeping you smiling, even when times get tough. If you do, please share it down in the comments. Really, your wisdom could inspire someone else who needs a little encouragement today. And I truly love reading the beautiful stories and tips you all share. It reminds me that none of us are really walking this path alone. And if this video brought you a little hope today, if it made you feel seen, understood, or even just a little bit stronger, would you consider subscribing to Elder Talks Daily? Just hit that little subscribe button and maybe give the video a like too. It's a simple way for us to keep building this circle of hope and connection, a place where every stage of life can feel rich, meaningful, and full of heart. Thank you truly for spending this time with me today. I'm honored you're here. Stay strong, stay connected, and always remember, there's still so much joy waiting for you. I'll see you again soon, right here on Elder Talks Daily. Take care of yourself, my friend.